Hello everyone, myself Dr. Pooja Lati, the reader and head from the Department of Public Health Industry. Today I'll be discussing on the topic of research. So before moving on to the topic in detail, I'll just brief you what we understand by research. So if we look back at the various codes which were given to describe or to understand what is research, numerous codes have been given. So among that, I've just picked few here and I've depicted which seem to be the most relevant. Okay. So some say that research is what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, and also it is also said that research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. Okay. So basically, it is to look into some new arena regarding a particular topic is what is research. So, going to by the definition of research, research is defined in a simple term, and this is according to the Webster's Dictionary as a careful or diligent search, or it's a studious inquiry or examination, wherein there is collection of information about a particular subject. Okay? And the word research origin from a French word that is recherche, which means to go about seeking, and basically the meaning is to search. So why do we need to know about research? Why research is important? Mainly it acts as a tool for building knowledge and efficient learning. It is a means to understand various issues and try to describe the issues or know the issues so as to we can find solutions for those problems and tackle them. Okay, and another reason is it helps us to prove what are the lies regarding a particular topic and supports the truth. Okay, it also helps us to explore new frontiers, and it is a seed of to love reading, writing, analysis, and sharing valuable information among the public. So, what can we do by conducting research? Okay, these are various uses with what research can help us to do. So first and foremost, we can categorize the various diseases in a given population. We can describe the diseases, okay, based on their distribution in the population. Try to find the explanation. What is the reason why the disease is seen in a particular area or a particular population? Try to evaluate the relationship between a disease and its factor, or try to evaluate whether any product is effective in controlling or preventing the disease. We also can help. It also helps us to compare the disease status of various populations, or also to compare the outcome of various products in controlling a disease. Okay, we also can help to. It helps us to correlate whether any finding is associated with a particular disease or any factor is associated with a particular disease can be also assessed by conducting research and by doing correlation. Okay, it helps us to predict. Research helps us to predict the future. Okay, how based on the present disease situation condition, research helps us to predict the future as well. And lastly, by conducting research, by knowing the disease in detail, we'll be able to plan out certain programs or events so that we can get the disease under control. So this is all what can be done by conducting research. So moving on to the different types of research, okay, they are mainly classified into three different categories. Okay, first category is type of research like basic and applied research. Okay, basic research and applied research. Basic research helps us to basically just describe a given disease in a population, whereas applied research helps us to find out if any new therapy or a product or a treatment or any other intervention is effective in controlling the disease or not. Okay, then another classification is based on type of data we're collecting. It can be classified as quantitative and qualitative research. And lastly, whether depending on whether we're doing intervention or no, research can be also classified as observational research and experimental research. If we're doing some sort of intervention or investigation or an experiment, it becomes experimental research. Whereas observational research, there is no sort of intervention done. We're just observing the trend of the disease. Moving on to the different types of health research. Okay, health research can be of different types Like, for example, we have behavioral kind of research or behavioral studies. Mainly, these are done to test how people act in different ways to know the people's behavior, basically. So, these studies conducted to study the behavior of people. Clinical trials are mainly conducted to know the efficacy or effectiveness of any drug or any procedure or any device in healthy volunteers or people with a particular disease. Okay. Then there is community-based research. These type of researchers mainly engage the community partners as the equal participants and will try to find out the factors present in the community which have a role in disease causation. Okay, then there are genetic studies, mainly to find the role of genes in the various diseases, the role of genes in different diseases. Then we have observational studies, mainly to observe the disease and describe the disease in a given population over a period of time. And as I said, we don't do any sort of intervention in observational studies. Then there are physiological studies. These help us to understand how the human body functions. Then we have prevention studies, mainly to test the efficacy of any preventive procedure which can be used to prevent a particular disease or a condition. Then there is public health research. Public health research can be one or a combination of all the above different types of researches which I just named, mainly to use to improve the health from population level perspective. So those are the different types of health research. Moving on to now, when you want to start with your research or you're planning to do a research, you need to keep in mind these key questions, which will help us to enable to conduct the research in a proper manner. So, what are the key questions which we are supposed to keep in mind? So, these are the various key questions. The key questions are: what do you want to know by conducting this a particular research? Okay, then how do you find out what you want to know? Where can you get the information? Who do you need to ask? When does your research needs to be done? Why you need to do this research? So what answer you want to achieve or get results you want to get at the end of this research? And lastly, whom are you going to study? That is in which population you are going to do your research. So all these key questions have to be framed prior to conducting the research. Okay, when in the planning stage. And moving on to steps in conducting a research. Okay, so there are various steps in conducting a research. So first step is to define the problem which you want to solve or find a solution for. Next step is to review a past literature. Any literature is available in the past, you review the literature. Then select a proper research design based on the objective. Formulate a hypothesis. Then you carry out the research, interpret the results, report the research findings, and it doesn't end there. The last step of any research should be publication. You have to publish the research, which ends the research process. Okay. So I'll just briefly tell about each step. So first step is to define the research problem. Okay. Research problem is the one, it is a fuel that helps, it basically drives us to find the scientific background behind the problem. So basically it is a fuel that drives the scientific process and is also a foundation of any research method or design. Okay. And it should include a quick synopsis or a brief layout of what your research is going to be and how the hypothesis was arrived at. And it is very crucial in defining the quality of answers and helps to determine the exact research which has to be used. The research problem is basically the key issue which has to be laid down, which acts as which is a crucial factor which helps us to come to a proper research method to find a solution for the problem. So moving on to the sources of literature from where all you can find out or try to arrive at a research question. Maybe you can refer the previous researches which have been done where some interesting result was found, but the researches were never followed up. So it could be an interesting area of research which nobody else has fully explored. Or it can be a review of a successful past experiment. Okay? We may disagree with the results, the tests used, or the methodology of the past study, and we can try to find out a refined way of conducting the research process by using the same study design as the previous research and retest the hypothesis. Okay? So this is how we can come to a key question. or you try to formulate a research problem. Okay, and moving on to the next step, once you have defined what research problem, what is your research problem, is for second step is to go for literature review. So literature review mainly is done to find out if any literature is available to the based on a similar topic, which is our research topic. So whenever we are doing a literature review, we should always keep in mind this evidence-based research hierarchy of evidence uh, pyramid. Okay, so always we have to or it is always better to uh, refer to the studies which are listed out at the top end of the pyramid rather than at the bottom end of the pyramid. Like for example, if you want to conduct a research on a particular topic or a research problem, and you want to search literature on it, better search for studies like meta-analysis and systematic reviews on that particular topic or randomized controlled trials. It's preferable to uh, review such form of literature because they provide a strong scientific evidence. Okay, whereas always avoid to refer literature which do not provide a strong scientific evidence, like research uh, literature available on YouTube videos or some media. Okay, it's better not to go for non-scientific evidence and stick to this hierarchy of research and try to refer those type of studies which are listed in the top end of the pyramid, which provide the main scientific evidence. Once you have done the literature search and you've got the relevant literature for the research, we need to move on to how to select a research design. Okay. There are various research designs available. So broadly, you can classify into observational and experimental. So again, how do you select a research design? It depends on, again, the objective of your study. So if your objective is just to observe the disease or describe the disease or to analyze a hypothesis, then we can go for observational type of studies. If there is some sort of intervention or an investigation needs to be done, or you want to do a trial of any new product or a procedure, then we can go for selecting experimental type of studies. Okay, under observational, we have again two types. If we are just trying to describe a disease, it can be descriptive studies, wherein we can, there are again two types of studies, like case reports you can do or case series studies. And if we want to try and analyze the hypothesis, then we can go for studies like case control study, cohort study, and cross-sectional study. And if we are if our research intends to study any new procedure, then we can go for experimental studies. Again, in that we have two types. We have randomized control trials and we have non-randomized control trials. Okay. So the research designs mainly depend on what do we want to do in our study or the objectives of our study. Based on that, we need to arrive at our research design. Okay. Then once that is done, you need to formulate a research hypothesis. Okay. Basically, hypothesis is a supposition, the assumption which we take into consideration when we want to start any form of research. Okay. For example, we want to find the association between smoking and oral cancer. So that is the hypothesis which we want to prove is that smoking will cause oral cancer. So hypothesis, whenever we start with a hypothesis, we have to formulate two hypotheses, that is null and alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis states that there is no relationship between variables, whereas alternative or research hypothesis states that there is a relationship between the two variables. So for example, we start with a hypothesis, null hypothesis stating that smoking does not cause oral cancer, and our alternative hypothesis will be smoking will cause oral cancer. Okay. So now we need to conduct the research and find out which of the hypothesis is going to be accepted. So we formulate a hypothesis and then we need to determine a sample size. Okay, sample is a part of a population on whom we'll be doing the research. Okay, so whenever we are determining a sample size, we should always keep these things in mind. So sample size can be determined maybe by arbitrary method, that is, if we have any previous studies which were conducted with the same objectives, we can use that same sample size as done in the previous study. If our study is following all the same protocol or methodology as stated in the previous study, or we can calculate sample size based on the results of the previous study, which is derived using the formula. Or if it is a newer study or a newer technique which is going to be tested, then a pilot study has to be conducted And based on the results of the pilot study, we'll be calculating the sample size for the present study. And this is considered to be the most reliable and preferred method, especially when it is a new research. And regarding sample size, it's always good to see that samples which are too small can prove nothing, whereas samples which are too large can prove anything. Okay. So once you have figured out the research design and calculated the sample size, and you've got on to the methodology, how you want to do the study, you carry out the research based on the research objectives and the methodology, okay, and collect the information. And once you have done the research, carried out the research, you've got the information in hand, you need to analyze that data or the information which is got and come to a conclusion, and so that we can come to the results. Okay. So the data analysis can be of two types. We can do a descriptive analysis and inferential analysis. Descriptive type of analysis basically helps us to summarize the observations of the research, whereas inferential analysis helps to use using appropriate test of significance. We'll be able to decide whether we have to accept a null hypothesis or reject null hypothesis. We can also find out if any correlation is there between the two variables and also do a regression study. So these are the different types of analysis can be done, and by this we'll be able to get the results of the study. Okay. And then, as I said, the last step, once you've got the results and made a report of the research and made a summary out of it, next step, the last step is to publish your study results. Okay, or publish the research. This is the most important step because this helps us to share the research findings which we have conducted with the whole world, and it will be used for disseminating the research findings to the whole population. Okay, so it's always important to end up with this last step, that is always publish the research once the research is completed. Okay, so that's it for today regarding what is research and what are the various steps in research. So thank you.